Greetings everyone, this is Rob Sanders, and today I'm going to present Facebook advertising tips and strategies. So thank you for joining. Today we're going to cover a number of tips to help you gain a better advantage on advertising on Facebook. So let's get right to it with tip number one. And with tip number one, not all advertisements need to sell something. So remember, you have different objectives on Facebook. You can advertise an event, you can promote a customer story, you can send traffic to your website, or you can get them to download an app. So it all goes back to your objective. So if we go to Facebook and I want to create an ad, remember, my first option is to create an objective. So you have awareness, you have consideration, you have conversion. So depending on what you want somebody to do, that's the objective you're going to choose. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up your campaign on Facebook. You need to align your objective with what you want people to do. So tip number two, we want to use Facebook Messenger for advertising. So Facebook Messenger is a feature that can be used with advertising on Facebook. And it's a good tool, it's a good practice because it allows you to, as the advertiser, to commute with individuals directly. So it's a feature that you should take advantage of because it allows you to quickly engage with your target audience. So that's the beauty of leveraging Facebook Messenger with your advertising. The communication tool is available and for you to engage with your target audience. So it's great for not only interacting, but taking care of any other objections that they have as an audience or prospective client. So you can answer any concerns they have right away. So it's a lot more personal and interactive than other forms of advertising because you're directly communicating with your audience. Tip three, use video advertisements. I can't stress this enough. Video is very engaging. In fact, it's not only engaging, but it's very easy to use. So if we go to Facebook, really, Facebook is telling us for video, all we need to do is have basically a phone handy and an app and just to be able to upload it. So with Facebook video, you can really drive awareness and you can really drive sales. I mean, you can really make some really splashy videos on Facebook. All you need is a mobile camera. So with Facebook videos, it's really very easy to create. You just got to be creative. That's really the key to videos. You know they're going to be engaging to the end user. Say something, do something that's going to really grab their attention and get them to do what you want them to do. So these are just some of the examples you can see on Facebook, and you can see how creative advertisers are getting. You know, clear call to action, great video or great imagery, good promotional use. So there's a lot you can do with video and really make it interactive. So I can't stress video enough as an option for Facebook. It really is one of the better features with Facebook advertising and really very limited use of resources. All you need is that web camera, an app, and the ability to upload that video. That's really it for video advertisements. So keep in mind, and the reason why I'm harping on those video ads is they tend to outperform your traditional Facebook image ads in other formats like the carousel or the presentation mode. So there's other types of formats on Facebook. Video tends to give it that extra edge because it's very interactive. And in the form of interactivity comes engagement. So in this example, people are going to react, they're going to comment, they're going to share the video. And that's what you want as an advertiser. You want to grab as much reach as possible towards your target audience. And so video will help you do that. It will help you not only engage with the person, but allow that video to be shared and expand your reach towards your target audience. So remember, video can range from a few seconds all the way up to 120 minutes. So you're really going to get more views regardless of how long the video is because it's just going to be so interactive. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be full on 120 minutes. It could be, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. To me, that's probably a good range, but just know that you have that leadway if you wanted to. So remember, video ads always perform better than single image ads. ads or other type of image ad formats on Facebook. And they also perform better when they have subtitle support. So just keep that in mind as well, because you may have, individuals watching the video from, different countries speaking different languages. So tip 4, when you're placing your advertisement, where you place your advertisement will play an important role in deciding how many people come across it. So Facebook offers a number of different options to choose from. So remember, you got the Newsfeed, you got instant articles, right column, you got suggested videos. So you got a lot of options at your disposal. There's lots of other options too. So you can have Facebook actually automatically place your ads, or you can specifically tell Facebook where you want to place your ads. And that's all part of the Facebook setup. So if we go to Facebook and then we go to create your campaign. So if we choose ad set, here is where we're going to be able to choose our placement. If we click on choose placement, we'll be able to, allow Facebook to place it, or we can edit the placement specifically. So just keep that in mind. You have a lot of different options here. Again, feeds, instant articles, in-stream videos, you got right column, you even have Instagram. So you have a lot of options available to you. So my recommendation and Facebook's recommendation is always go with the auto placement, but you could specifically choose your placement if you want to when you're setting up your campaign. So start the advertising on the newsfeed could be recommended. The newsfeed is where you're probably going to get your most eyeballs. Most users spend most of their time there, and it has the highest chance of grabbing their attention. So the newsfeed could be a good place to start. Again, you can have it at auto placement, and your ads may be there as well, or you could specifically choose just the newsfeed or other placements. So tip 4, just be careful where you place your ad. It's really important. You want to place your ad where you're going to get eyeballs. So tip 5. Facebook ads also offer you the option to advertise on Instagram. So you have that option available to you. As I mentioned in tip 4, you have the option to advertise through stories, carousel ads, photo ads, and video ads. So again, that's all part of the ad setup. When you go to choose your placements, here you got Instagram feed, you get Instagram stories. And again, with both of those placements on Instagram, you can work with several different types of ads, including that carousel ad, including that video ad. So just keep that in mind that Instagram is an option for you. Take advantage of it. There's a lot more eyeballs on Instagram these days, and it plays off nicely with what you're trying to do with Facebook. So go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so let's take a quick break from the first few tips we went over, and let's take a look at an ad. So it's an ad break time. So let's take a look at this ad, and this is by New Scientist. And so what makes this ad so great? Well, there's been a lot of shakeup in the world today about fake news. What is fake news? So New Scientist is actually playing off of that. They're mentioning, hey, fake news, not in our world. So they're actually playing off of that term fake news. And so that's an attention grabber. So I think that's what makes this look so good. But this is a single image ad. And you can see here they're promoting this ad with a promotion. So try 12 weeks for just 36 euros. Okay, so they have a promotion in there. So, and you notice the image of the magazine, they're also displaying that, hey, you can look at this digitally on a laptop, a tablet, or a mobile phone. So you have other options as well. So they show you that in the image, which is placed on the right side of their messaging. So for me, this is a good ad because of the placement of the image, the type of image they're using, the play on fake news, and the promotion that they're offering up. So this is really a good ad. It's very eye-catching, and hopefully the promotion's good enough to get you to sign up. Okay, so tip number 6. We want to continuously do A/B testing. You want to always have this option going for you. You want to be able to test variation A versus variation B, because you want to be able to find out what works and what doesn't work with your audience. And on top of that, it helps you really put your best foot forward by showing your best ad. So by doing A/B testing, you're getting feedback from the audience and turning that feedback into positive returns. So you're then turning your ad that does work well in front of an audience, and you're going to continue to do that. So A/B testing is always a good option. So remember, when you're setting up your ad in Facebook, go ahead and choose to have your A/B test set up. And when you do that, you choose that option, you're going to be able to then go in and choose what it is you want to test with ad A and then with ad B. So you're going to, again, align your test with a Facebook page. You're going to choose an ad format. Once you choose your ad format, then you're going to be able to go ahead and, put your ad in there, and then you're going to choose your call to action. So the whole idea behind an A/B test is you want to be able to find what it is you want to test. Is that going to be the call to action? Is it going to be the messaging? Is it going to be the ad format? So there are lots of things you can test with Facebook on A/B testing. So it's all part of the ad setup. So things you can change, again, are the color of the elements, imaging, text, the call to action, the position of the ad. There's lots of things you could test. That's all part of the Facebook setup. So the thing is, you want to continuously test. That's the key. Continuously test certain elements of an ad. So testing can be done initially on broader elements and then smaller, finer details like statements in your ad copy. So my advice is when you're actually setting this up on Facebook, think ahead, think what it is you want to choose to test. My advice is maybe start out with a call to action. So if you're in Facebook itself, you have an opportunity to test different call to action. Try that. That's an easy way to test. And then, when you test the call to action, once you find out what works and doesn't work, then you can move on to something more sophisticated, like maybe the image type, or maybe trying different types of imagery or ad types, like the carousel versus single image. So start small, start easy, and then work your way up. Tip number 7. So we want to choose an appropriate call to action in your advertisements that will attract potential customers. So what do we mean? Well, you have different call to actions available to you. You want to choose one that aligns with your ad. So for example, the Simplilearn ad about, hey, learn how SEO works, search engine optimization. So if you're trying to get somebody to, learn or take one of your courses, you're not asking them to actually shop now. You really want them to sign up. So that's the key. We want them to sign up. So use a call to action that makes sense. Tip number 8, choose the right audience for your advertisement. Okay, so what do we mean? So for this, you can consider, website visits, interests. It all depends on your objective. Okay, what is it you want people to do? If it's, customers in the buying process, then that's our objectives to get conversions. Then we want to move somebody over to a product page and get them to purchase. If it's focusing on just website visits, then maybe it's the objective of consideration. Maybe you just want to get people to your website to learn more about your product. So that's the whole idea behind, choosing the right, objective, because you want to align the objective with your ad. Okay, so tip number 9. Create lookalike audiences. And I like lookalike audience because what Facebook does is they create an audience that's similar to the audience you already advertising to or customer base you already have. So in other words, Facebook already has an idea of who your audience is. You can also, provide them with additional information like an email list to give them a better sense of who your audience is. And then what Facebook does is they take that information and they'll put your ad in front of an audience that looks just like the audience you already have. That's why they call it a lookalike audience. So it's a great feature by Facebook. It really allows you to reach a target audience, an audience that's very similar to the audience you currently have. And one example, provide Facebook with an email list. With that email list, they're going to be able to map that email list and be able to identify an audience that you could target. So that's the whole idea behind lookalike audience. It's a great feature by Facebook. Definitely recommend taking advantage of that. Why? Because it will increase the number of people who will find your advertisement relevant. Remember, you're targeting people who are similar to your actual audience, to the people who are already connected with your brand or already liking your page. So if they're similar to those people, then the chances of them engaging with you are going to be greater. So lookalike audiences tend to perform well because you're targeting an audience that's very similar to your actual audience. Tip number 10. So use the golden point rule on your ad creative. So What do we mean by golden point rule? Well, let's take this ad here as an example. So what we want to do is we want to divide the creative into 9 equally sized boxes. So what we want to do is draw 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines, just like a tic-tac-toe box. And so ideally what we want to do is place the main subject of your ad in the cross sections of the drawn lines. And so what that does is encourages the user to place their focus on those points. The lines are just simply there as a guidance to help you position your messaging. So that's the golden point rule, really, is we want to be able to position our messaging accordingly. So time for another ad break. So let's take a look at another ad here on Facebook. And this one's by Blue Apron. And so of all the tips we've talked about, this particular ad takes into account a lot of them, okay? So this is, again, they're using multiple images in this ad here. So again, what they're doing, promotion, they're offering up a $30 off promotion here. And what they're asking you to do is sign up to get that $30 off. So you could see the call to action. We already mentioned that on one of our tips. The call to action matches the ad, so they're asking you to sign up. They're using really good imagery here, and they're supporting that with some good copy and text. So this is what makes this ad so good. I mean, who doesn't like good looking food or tasty food and healthy food? Okay, so they're definitely taking advantage of the imagery with a promotion and with a good call to action. And so remember, we want to A/B test. So Blue Apron is likely testing this ad. So what they could do with this is test different imagery, or they could test a different promotion. So there's a lot they can do here on the A/B testing side. So for me, if I were to test this, I would probably be testing the imageries, because we want to be able to see what images get people to sign up. Alternatively, we can also test the offer as well. What offer is going to get somebody to click on that sign up button? So ideally, there's a lot to do here from the A/B test standpoint, and the way they've structured this ad, it makes it very easy to test. So that's what makes this ad really good, is it shows good imagery, has a good promotion, and aligns the CTA. Tip number 11. So we want to place the product in the right hand of your creative. So the right side should contain our product imagery. So why is that? Why? Because there's been a study called the Perceived Product Heaviness and Package Evaluation, and that states that depending on where a product is placed, users would react differently to it. And so the study found that users tend to react more positively when the product is placed on the right side of the ad creative. So here you can see countdown to Black Friday. This is an Amazon related ad, and you can see the product is basically a litter box, which is placed on the right side. So it's a Black Friday ad. They didn't place the image on the left side, they placed it on the right side, because people tend to react positively when the product image is on the right side. So keep that in mind when you're placing your imagery. Try to place it on the right side. Tip number 12, don't use images that have more than 20% text. Okay, so you want to use images that are clean. Remember that Blue Apron image we looked at? That was a very clean image of food. No text overlaying the image. So we want to try and stay away from images that have text on the overlay. Okay, so there's no limit to how much text you can add to your creative, but Facebook and myself recommend, hey, the lesser text you have, the more likely it is for your ad to have its desired impact, meaning somebody's going to click on that ad. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let the image do the talking for you. You don't necessarily need to overwhelm the image with words or messages. Tip number 13. So we want to use an ad creative that's attention grabbing and is relevant for your business. So again, going back to that Blue Apron ad, hey, who doesn't like good looking food, good looking healthy food, green food? Well, switching gears, we're looking at a Nike ad. Who doesn't like a good looking shoe here? This is a good running shoe, and Nike is definitely taking advantage of the opportunity to place the shoe against a nice looking background. So here, the image on the left, you got a nice mauve looking color, the shoe on the right on a nice red background to kind of really play into the color of the shoe. And so that's attention grabbing. So the colors kind of match and go with one one another, and it tends to grab your attention. So Nike's doing a good job here of just not showing an image of a shoe. Really what they're doing is put the shoe as the central focal point and supporting that with additional color. And they're really putting the messaging kind of as the background behind the shoe. So they're making it as attention grabbing as possible here. So Nike's done a good job with this ad. You know, me personally, I'm not the biggest Nike fan when it comes to shoes, but hey, this ad definitely grabbed my attention because now I could see, you know, this shoe is really popping to me. We don't want to use clip art in your ad creative, okay? And don't use low resolution pixelated images as well. We want to use high quality imagery. So, and use images that are well lit. You know, natural lighting always tends to work well as well. So when you're doing a placement for a product, whether that be food or shoe, you can see here in this plated example, they're putting it on the right image, they're putting it in a natural environment, on a table, on a plate with some paper next to it, you know, and then you could see the one on the left, it's of a person holding a box with the image of plated on it. And so to me, that's not stock imagery or clip art, you know, that's an actual person holding the product. So it's real life. You want to make it as real life as possible and as clear and quality as possible. So when you create attention grabbing ads, you know, show images of people benefiting from your product instead of just having the product itself. So that's always a good idea. In the case of Coca-Cola, you know, these people are enjoying their bottle of Coca-Cola. Well, going back to the Nike ad, you know, they could have had a person wearing that shoe or, you know, running with that shoe. That could have been an alternative for them as well. So the whole idea is just make sure your ads are attention getting and they grab your attention. And if you're going to use people, make sure the person's enjoying it. Just like on the previous image, the person holding the box. We could see she's got a smile on her face and she is enjoying holding that box. So to me, you want to use people with the images to the best of your ability, and that means use that person who's enjoying it. So that's really going to put the product in the forefront. Okay, tip 14, don't hesitate to experiment with your advertisements creative or its copy. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Really, we want to be refreshing our text. We want to be refreshing our images, okay? So if you're going to place an ad on Facebook, don't let that be the only ad, okay? If you're using a single image ad, you know, feel free to change out that single image from time to time, especially if a lot of people have seen that ad. So if you're using reach as your objective, and you're trying to reach as many people as possible, just keep in mind that if that ad is reaching the same people over and over again, it's going to get stale. And you want to be able to update that ad. So feel free to change out the imagery. Changing out the text is just as easy. Okay, so feel free to play around with the text. Even if you're not doing A/B testing, you can always change out the text just to see, hey, if changing out the text actually gets you better engagement or meets your goals. Tip 15, plan your campaigns for the holiday season, okay? So can't state this enough, you know, towards October, November, December, there tends to be a lot of holidays, across multiple religions. Okay, so it's really the time of year where people are in full ad mode and audiences are in full watch mode. So advertisers are really pushing ads that time of year, especially Christmas, and people are accepting of that because they're used to it. So you want to be able to plan accordingly. So if you're doing your ads, you can easily engage with your audience if you're aligning your ad with that time of year. So during Christmas, most people are in the mood for shopping. So it's a time of year where you can really take advantage of increasing your sales, increasing your conversions. So you want to plan accordingly. And so if you're planning, months in advance, you don't have to do a full year. But, for me, if I'm thinking I'm going to do a lot of advertising during the holiday season, I'm probably going to go out maybe once summer ends, probably August, beginning of September. Beginning of September, seasons change a little. I might start thinking about the holiday season. And when you can plan appropriately, you can come out with really good ads. You can think about what you want to say. And so in this case, Target, this particular ad is really promoting Black Friday. So Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving in the United States. And so here they're letting you know Black Friday's here and there's deals to be had. So planning in advance gives you an opportunity to really tweak your messaging and come up with some good creative ideas. So let's take another break and let's look at another good looking ad. This example, we're going to look at Dell. Okay, so Dell, I've seen their ads all over Facebook. They do a lot of different advertising types between videos, carousels. Again, this is a single image ad. What they're really trying to do is get you over to the storefront so you can buy one of these good looking, Dell computers. Okay, so, here, again, they're promoting their latest computer, the Dell Inspiron 3000 series, all in one desktop. So to them, anytime they create a new product, they're going to go ahead and put out a new ad for that product. And here they're putting a little bit of a different twist on it. If you notice, the ad itself is just the image of the product. There's really no promotion here. They're letting the product image speak for itself. They're really showing you, hey, look how good this computer looks. This is our new model, and we got a shop now CTA. So if you're interested, go ahead and click on that shop now. So they're really putting the effort into the image itself. They're not offering any promotion, no discounts. What you see is what you get with the image, and you click on it, you're going to go right to their storefront. So Dell does a good job of really, cranking out their new products whenever they go to market. So tip 16, shorten the amount of time between retargeting your audience. So target people who have visited your website within the span of a month or 2 weeks. So retargeting is reaching out to people who you've already engaged with. So if somebody's seen your ad or somebody's went to your website, somebody's even purchased from you before, you have the opportunity to reach back out to that person. So how often you reach out to that person or how long between their initial engagement and when you retarget them really does depend on what it is you're selling. So if you're selling a pair of shoes, if you're Nike, then chances are somebody's looking for a pair of shoes. It's not going to be a long purchase window, meaning they're not going to wait 2-3 months. So if I'm Nike and somebody's seen my ad, I'm probably going to target that person in a short period of time for retargeting. So it really depends on your product. But you don't want to wait too long between the time they've initially engaged and the time you retarget. So it really depends on your product. Again, if you're selling merchandise, retail, it's probably going to be a smaller time frame. If you're Dell computers, that's a bigger purchase. Somebody's going to take their time. So, you want to target people, for their Dell computer, probably, over a longer period of time. Okay, so just keep the product in mind. You don't want to wait too long. You don't want to keep it too short. So you want to find that nice balance of when you could retarget someone. Okay, tip number 17, keep altering the hook of your ad copy. What do we mean by altering the hook? So here you can see a couple of different options. Option 1, we're talking about, hey, if you're interested in getting some DMCA certification, this is what you need to do. Option 2, a little bit different of a hook. Hey, start your journey to get your DMCA certification. So, just altering the way you're trying to talk to somebody is really what we're after here on tip number 17. You have an ad, especially the text. Remember, we always want to refresh that copy, but if you're testing it, try different hooks, try different ways to talk to people. Okay, it always works well when you can have different types of messaging because people react to different messaging. So an effective strategy would be to create multiple ads with different hooks and see what performs best. So this is an option for A/B testing. Okay, you have an option to add messaging. Go ahead and talk one way in one option, and then tweak that messaging, tweak that hook a bit in option B, and see what resonates with people. So that's a good option for A/B testing. Is always look at the way you're going to try and get somebody to convert. Tip number 18, okay, respond to lead ad responses as soon as possible. So remember, one of your ad formats is a lead ad. Okay, so if you have a lead ad, basically what you're asking somebody to do is add their name, their phone number, and their email. If you get that information, don't sit on it, react to it. Just like the messaging, the Facebook Messenger, how it's almost instantaneous. Think of the lead ads the same way. Okay, you have somebody who's engaging with your ad by providing information. You don't want to sit on it. You want to respond as soon as possible. In fact, when you do engage with that person, let them know you're available on Facebook Messenger so they can actually then reach out to you via Facebook Messenger just to expedite the communication. But when you get that valuable information from the customer, respond as soon as possible. It's good customer service. Because the longer you take to respond, the less likely the customer will want to continue interacting with you. So there's no real good rule of thumb here, except for do it as soon as possible. Okay, tip number 19, add scarcity to your advertisements. So what do we mean by that? Well, in this example, we could see the top 100 registrations get free access. So by putting this into your ad copy, we're hoping your prospects are more inclined to buy your product due to that fear that they're not going to be one of the first 100 registrations. Okay, so it allows you to really put some sense of urgency in the ad to get somebody to react. So that's what we mean by, scarcity. Okay, so by doing so, it could affect the long-term credibility. We don't want to come across as fear-mongering by any means, but hey, if your promotion is the first 100 registrations get free access, then why not? Go ahead and put it in there. Some other examples could be, only 3 days left to register, or first 50 get 50% off, or, hurry now, there's only 2 days left. So there's other language you can put. So play around with the language. But if you only have certain slots available or a certain amount of days left, there's nothing wrong with putting that in the ad copy to get people to react. And so that's the whole idea behind, the scarcity is you want to be able to let people know, hey, there's a limited edition going on here. If you're interested, go ahead and take advantage. Tip number 20, keep track of your ad relevance scores. So your ads do get scored. So the score ranges from 1 to 10. Okay, so what that score does is it's an indicator to signify the quality and engagement levels. So, if your score is between 1 and 6, then the ad isn't reaching the relevant audience and your audience isn't reacting to it. However, if your relevance score is between 7 and 10, then your ads are reaching the appropriate audience and you're getting a lot of interaction. So keep an eye on that. The lower the number, that means, hey, our ad's not getting to the right audience. And if it's not getting to the right audience, our audience isn't going to react to it. So it all starts with making sure you're reaching your audience with your ad. When your ad is reaching your audience and you're doing A/B testing, your audience is going to react to one of those two ads. So that's always going to help your relevance score. So keep an eye on that relevance score. Okay, so let's take another break here and let's take a look at an ad here by Blue Bottle Coffee. Okay, so I'm a big coffee drinker myself. I frequent Blue Bottle in San Francisco a lot. And so here, this is a nice image, a nice close-up image of coffee, and I really like this. Notice there's really no call to action here. Okay, so they're putting their website URL, the domain, bluebottlecoffee.com. They're saying, hey, we source great coffees, we roast them to perfection, and get them to you fresh. So I can vouch for that. Really putting their brand out there. Okay, so this is more of a brand awareness type ad. That's their objective. Their objective is if you're going to drink coffee at some other location or with some other brand, hey, take a look at ours. We got good coffee too. We roast them pretty good and we make sure that you get them fresh. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to introduce their brand to you. So this is a good example of a brand awareness ad, single image ad. They're definitely making use of the ad, the image itself, with a nice close-up shot of that roasted coffee. So that's what makes this ad so special. Brand awareness. The image is telling us, hey, this coffee looks pretty good. It looks nice and roasted. It looks pretty fresh. And maybe I'll give Blue Bottle Coffee a try. So that's why they're putting their domain there. Okay, so it's a good brand awareness ad, and the hope is to convert some people over to their brand. Okay, so tip number 21, include emojis in your ad copy. Okay, so emojis we know are popular. You use them in text. You use them on social media. I mean, there's hundreds of emojis nowadays that you could pick and choose from. They are really specific. And so here you can see in the case of Simplilearn, hey, if you're taking a digital marketing course with Simplilearn, it doesn't hurt to have some emojis support that message. So you always got the thumbs up, it's a good emoji. The image of the graduation, that's a good emoji. So, you always want to align, really fun, relevant emojis with your messaging. It kind of just helps it stick out a bit, and people resonate with emojis. And so it doesn't hurt to add those emojis in your ad copy. And especially if your competition is not using emojis, you want every advantage you can to have your ad stick out. So emojis is a good way to get your ad to stick out. Tip number 22, use UTM parameters to your ad, which can feed into your Google Analytics account and provide tracking information. So I can't stress this enough. If you're using Google Analytics to track your campaigns, then you want to use UTM parameters. So what do we mean by UTM parameters? Well, let me show you an example. So all you need to do is type in UTM tracking or URL builder in Google, and then you're going to actually get to this page here. So what this does, this is a tool to help you create UTM tracking. So if we're Simplilearn and we want to advertise and drive the audience to a specific page, in this case, Artificial Intelligence Master's Program page. So this is going to be the URL, but we want to append that URL with some UTM tracking parameters. Our campaign source parameter, we're going to put Facebook because that's the source of where we're advertising. The medium in which we're driving that traffic to the page from Facebook is CPC, which stands for cost per click. And then we're just going to put campaign name AI engineer to identify what it is that campaign is related to. So notice that the only required parameter is campaign source. In this case, we're going to put Facebook, but we can also use campaign content if we want to differentiate the different ads that we have. So you can use campaign content parameter as well. You don't have to. The only required parameter is campaign source. My recommendation, go all lowercase, okay? And then when you're done, you have a URL that you can use in your advertising. So when somebody actually goes to that URL, notice the URL includes the UTM tracking, and then analytics is going to be able to pick up that campaign from where? Facebook. The medium is going to be CPC, and the campaign in this case is going to be AI engineer. And that's what you're going to look for in Google Analytics. So it helps you track your ads more closely, because if you don't use UTM tracking, for example, on Facebook, then analytics might interpret that traffic coming from that ad as, organic social. So we want to be able to identify specifically the campaign you're running by putting in different variables for those parameters. So that's what UTM tracking is. You want to use it for all your Facebook advertising. Okay. So it really helps you, in analytics, identify how your campaign's performing. Not only is it driving traffic, but is the campaign converting for you. So if you're trying to get somebody to sign up for a class, then analytics is going to help us measure those conversions. But with UTM tracking, we can bridge the gap between how many people Facebook delivered or drove to our site from the ad and how many of those people actually converted. So UTM parameters help bridge that gap. Tip 23, use exclusion marketing to improve your Facebook return on investment by not including people who have already taken the action desired by you. Okay, so this is a very key feature here. So if we've already advertised and people have reacted to our ad and have subscribed, then we don't want to target that person again. So that's what exclusion marketing is. We want to be able to, target people that we're really after. So if, somebody's looked at our ad and did not convert or did not go to our website or did not download something or whatever it is we wanted them to do, then those are the people we want to focus in on. Okay. So in this case, exclusion marketing, we're going to exclude people who have subscribed. In this case, we're going to retarget people, meaning advertise again to people who have not subscribed. So that's what the exclusion marketing feature does. It helps you really hone in on where you're targeting and retargeting. So that way you're not hitting the same people over again. And that's only going to lead to poor performance. Tip 24. Track the right metrics for your business. So keep your eye on important metrics. What are those metrics? Those are going to be KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators, and KPIs differentiate from metrics because KPIs are related to business goals. So track the right metrics for your business. What are the right metrics for your business? More than likely, it's going to be conversions or conversion rate, but you could be running a brand awareness campaign, just like Blue Bottle Coffee did. And so if you're running a brand awareness campaign, then maybe your KPI or metric is going to be a click, okay, or click-through rate. How many people are actually reacting to our ad? Okay, so you always want to align the right metric with your business. Okay, it's just very important that you're measuring against the right metric. If you're not, then it's going to be misaligned in terms of how you judge the campaign performance. Another set of metrics could be reach and frequency. So reach and frequency allow us to measure how many people saw the ad, and post engagement can determine how many users are reacting to your ads. CPC helps us determine the cost effectiveness, or how much we're paying for every click. You could see that information in your Facebook ad manager. For example, if I go to Facebook's ads manager, here I'm looking at some ads that we're running. Here, what can I see? I can see my reach, how many people I'm actually reaching, the frequency in which they're seeing my ad. Notice I can see my relevancy score. I can also see my cost per result. I can see the total clicks. So I have a whole set of metrics available to me. Really what I want to do is pick and choose the metrics that are most important to the ad I'm running. Okay, so if it's reach, am I reaching the full amount of people possible if I'm running a brand awareness campaign? Or it could be some other metric like conversion. So we want to be able to align the right metric with the right ad. Tip 25, take advantage of Facebook's location tracking tool for your advertisements. So Facebook allows us to advertise at up to 25 countries with different states, provinces, cities, districts, and zip codes. So we can really hone in location-wise on where we want to target. So Facebook allows us to do that. So basically, it could be somebody in a particular area, or people who have recently been there, or traveling to that location, or actually live there. So really, you can hone in on a specific location based on certain set of criteria. So with this, you could take your marketing to the next level by approaching your competitors' customers by offering them better discounts. So that's the whole idea. Targeting your advertising on a specific location, and then knowing that your competitors are there, you can really put out some really good ads with some really good offers to really convert some of those people in that audience. Okay, let's take a look at another ad. Okay, so Grammarly, this is an ad that they've put out there. And again, you notice there's no real true call to action associated with the single image ad. Here, it's all about messaging. Here, they're saying, hey, download it free today. Okay, and so it's a browser extension that they're promoting. And really, they're trying to get you to identify with this particular brand that offers a specific product. So they do have a promotion in there. It's brand awareness. Hey, your life is about to change. I mean, the messaging is pretty, matter of fact. They're trying to get you to, hey, I need this in my browser as an extension. So for me, this ad is all about the messaging here. Okay, so with Grammarly, if you're in Gmail, you're in Word, you're in Outlook, they got you covered by using their browser extension. It's free, and by using it, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So for me, the ad works from a messaging standpoint. Not really big on the imagery, but it's really about this is who we are, and we can really rock your world if you use this browser extension. So they're really putting a lot of emphasis on the messaging. So for me, anytime somebody says my life's about to change, they've got my attention. So I went over 25 tips and strategies for you on Facebook. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below the video. I want to thank you for your attention. And if you need any more information, please visit Simplilearn.com. Thank you.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.